Good morning. It's 9 a.m., Monday, March 27, 2023. This is the Muscatine County Board of Supervisors. I'd like to call the meeting to order. First is to review the agenda.
Move to approve as presented.
Second.
Motion by Jeff, second by Nathan. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Next is a public hearing on the proposed FY 23-24 Muscatine County maximum property tax dollars for general county services and rural county services. So we are in a public hearing. Do I have anyone from the public that would wish to address the board for or against or to speak on this issue? Seeing no one?
Guessing we didn't have any written comments.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
I got a motion by Jeff, second by Nathan. Next, so we're back in session here.
We got a
Do we need a roll
roll
call?
call
Oh, roll
vote.
call, I'm sorry. Jeff,
Aye.
Nathan?
Aye.
I vote aye. Danny?
Aye.
And Kurt?
Aye.
Motion passes. Next is discussion and possible action to approve resolution 03272301, approval of the FY 23-24 maximum property tax dollars.
I'll move the approval.
I got a motion by Jeff,
Second.
second by Kurt. This is a roll call vote. Jeff,
Aye.
Nathan,
Aye.
I vote aye. Danny,
Aye.
and Kurt.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next is public hearing on a proposal to enter into an essential purpose loan agreement in an amount not to exceed $2,700,000. So we are in a public hearing. Is there anyone in the public that would like to speak for or against or discuss this issue? Seeing no one?
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
We got, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, we got three of them.
Yep.
Are we in all of them at once, or are we doing one by one?
We have 3 public hearings and then you vote, do a resolution
Yeah.
on all 3 of them.
So I've got a motion by Jeff to close this public hearing. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Nathan. This is a roll call vote. Jeff,
Aye.
Nathan,
Aye.
I vote aye. Danny,
Aye.
and Kurt.
Aye.
Next is a public hearing on a proposal to enter into general purpose loan agreement number 1 in the amount not to exceed $200,000. We are in a public hearing. Do I have anyone that wishes to speak for or against this issue? Seeing no one?
Move to close.
Second.
Motion by Nathan, second by Jeff to close the public hearing. Roll call vote. Jeff?
Aye.
Nathan?
Aye.
I vote aye. Danny?
Aye.
And Kurt?
Aye.
Motion passes. Next is a public hearing on a proposal to enter into general purpose loan agreement number 2 in an amount not to exceed $100,000. We are in a public hearing. Do I have anyone that wish to speak for or against this issue? Seeing no one?
I'll move to close the public hearing.
Motion by Jeff,
Second.
second by Kurt. This is a roll call vote. Jeff?
Aye.
Nathan?
Aye.
I vote aye. Danny?
Aye.
And Kurt?
Aye.
Next is discussion and possible action to approve resolution 03272302, expressing intent to enter into loan agreements, combining loan agreements and providing for the levy of taxes.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I got a motion by Jeff.
Second.
I've got a second by Nathan. This is a roll call vote. Jeff?
Aye.
Nathan? I vote aye. Danny?
Aye.
And Kurt?
Aye.
Motion passes. Next is discussion and possible action to approve the minutes of the March 2023 regular meeting.
So
Oh, second.
I got a motion by Nathan, a second by Jeff. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Correspondence? Jeff, you have anything?
I had a mail from the Carsons on 245th Street. I also had a contact by Tom Summit, our medical examiner. So we've discussed this whole EMA or EMS as an essential service stuff going around. So our local group is meeting with our chief medical examiner and trying to put together a proposal for the board to consider, and they've asked if I would sit in on some of their meetings as a member of the EMA council, so, that, I would expect it'll take, Tom felt several months before they have a proposal to the board to consider. And I think that you're gonna see legislation this year around that, so, that was it.
Okay. Nathan?
I had the same email. I also had a phone call with Dusty Buffington regarding some items on the 245th area. I also had on Wednesday I don't know if this should be meetings or correspondence, but on Wednesday, whatever the heck date that was, the 22nd, the carbon capture webinar that we've received some information on. I participated in that.
Okay. All I had was the email from the Carsons. Danny?
I had a few calls and emails on 245th, that was all.
Kurt?
I had the same emails, also had a call on road condition on Elder Avenue, and then I also talked with Emery Davis with the Watershed Management Association on they finally finalized some plans on handouts for farmers to enroll, so I'm meeting with him this week to help hand those out or
Good.
circulate those.
Good. Committee reports. Jeff, you have anything?
Yeah, on Monday, the 20th, we had the Eastern Iowa Mental Health Region, and on the Wednesday, the 22nd, I had the Bi-State Commission. I think I forwarded to all you, we had an interesting presentation by the National Weather Service hydrologist, and I think I forwarded that to you on Mississippi flood potential. So they don't see the other rivers being a significant risk, but the Mississippi looks like probably 2019 levels, maybe worse, depending on how quickly the snow melt. Lots of water up north. So
Okay.
hope for a slow, gradual melt this spring up north.
Okay. Nathan, you have anything?
I did not.
Okay. I had, on Monday the 20th, I had the Conservation Board. Danny?
324 CEO meeting with Iowa Workforce Development, that was it.
Okay. Kurt?
I had none.
No? Okay.
Scott, can I ask you a question about I didn't see on the Conservation Board, are they recruiting yet for director, or?
Yes, they are. They are,
I saw some positions out there in naturalists and,
yep, they are, and work in that direction to see what they can get
Okay.
interest for candidates. Next is items with the administration office. First is discussion and possible action to approve and authorize the chair to sign an EDA grant extension request for the Muscatine Levee Improvement Project. That was in your packet.
so if, I had a conversation with them last week or so on that. Was a delay at the Corps. Finally, Senator Grassley's office was able to get the Corps more engaged. It was about an 8-month delay, so we're a little bit behind on that project, so they're looking for some relief. So I would make a motion that we approve this. Cause we recall with the EDA, we had to, Kayla, do you remember the dates on the funds? But that $3.4 million EDA grant that we got to help with the levee improvements, the clock is ticking on that thing. We have to expend and those funds, by, I think it was 26.
Well, we were supposed to start construction in April, and so we're trying to push that back to October at least,
Yeah,
because of the delays with the Corps.
yeah, okay. So I would move the approval.
Second.
Motion by Jeff, second by Nathan. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Cause if the EDA, if we pull back that $3.4 million, we got a problem. That's half our funding
I believe we're
for that
18,
project.
I believe we was told we were 18 months in and we have to get it done within 5 years, I think is what they said.
Well, you know, if you look at the flood forecasts and that, I don't know how this works going forward, you know, in regard to Mother Nature on this project, but, sounds like there's potential for, a slow start, shall we say, this year. Next is action to accept the February 2023 and March 2023 payroll claims.
I'll move the approval.
Got a motion by Jeff,
Second.
second by Kurt. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion passes. Anything other, Nancy?
I don't have anything else.
Thank you. Receive information from county employees. Do I have any county employees that wish to address the board? Morning, Jim.
Morning, thank you. We had an opportunity last Wednesday, we being the subcommittee on the 245th Street Bridge, to have an initial meeting, met for a couple of hours. Covered the historical process that this has been through, because there's been some information shared over the last year to try to get all committee members up to speed. And then as a result of the meeting, we have several action items that need to be completed. A couple by Brian's office relative to the life expectancy of a railcar bridge, the cost of a railcar bridge. Eric was gonna check with the watershed, Cedar County watershed folks, to see about getting this put on their system in the event that there's future money available to be able to address that. And then I contacted Randy with the assessor's office relative to an appraiser. The point of all of that is to try to get the best and most accurate information available to bring back to the board. I know in my action item, I've talked with Randy again this morning. He's done some checking on appraisers that might be willing to do that should that become necessary, in an effort to be ahead of that and have a recommendation. I'm not sure from Brian's perspective. I had heard rumor of a couple of weeks before information would be back to him, but I didn't have a chance to ask him that. He's not in yet, so I'd anticipate in a couple of weeks that we'd have that information, that we'd meet again and then come back to the board. Eric, I'm not sure if you made any, hasn't made any progress on his point. But we wanted to make sure that the board as a whole had an update relative to that meeting. I'd say it was an informative meeting, and we'll get the answers to those questions and be back to the board is the plan, with all due speed.
All right, thank you, Jim. Do I have any other county employees that wish to address the board at this time? Seeing none. Receive comments from the public. Do I have anyone from the public that would like to address the board at this time on any issue? Please state your name and address and your issue.
Kimberly Carson, and my primary address is 1113 Colton Street, Columbus Junction, Iowa. My Muscatine County property is 2440 Edgewater Road, Collinsville, Iowa. I heard you all identify that you had received my email last week, so I am a little disappointed that I asked questions and got no responses, and I understand perhaps you're not supposed to respond to me, so I'm here, this seeing another morning of work, to ask my questions. I did just hear some answers, maybe not exciting answers, but answers nonetheless from the county attorney. I don't think I'm gonna ask my specific questions necessarily because, again, they were answered, but I do wanna do some clarifying commentary. So the committee that was appointed last week by Mr. Sauer that is talking about 245th Street and the bridge, it was appointed in a public meeting. I'm assuming that means that that meeting was a public meeting. I have trolled the meetings on the Muscatine County Board of Supervisors website. I saw no indication of a Wednesday meeting. So I am curious as to if that is a public meeting, where I would get that information regarding that meeting. I have no anticipation that y'all are gonna answer any of my questions today either, so I'll just.
Well, that's a fair question. It wasn't a quorum of the board, so it's not a public meeting. And the meeting was held in which legal matters were discussed, which is the purpose of the committee, to make some findings, come back and make recommendations in a public meeting with an opportunity for the public to participate. So there's no hiding the ball here. It's just a process. We haven't directed the the direction of that process. The things that have been said and the threats that have been made, and the statements regarding dereliction of duty, all bear on the conversation. So those aren't matters that we have brought up, those are matters that have been brought to the board, and
Yes.
we have to respond accordingly, and I hope people understand that. Because, you know, that's just the nature of the way it operates. So I hope that answers your question.
That answers it good enough, thank you. I also wanted to note that this rail car solution that we have brought forward as a potential opportunity to replace the 245th Street Bridge, while we talk about it a lot about 245th Street, this is by no means to keep it at 245th Street. If this is a viable solution on one bridge in Muscatine County, potentially it's a solution on other Muscatine County bridges. And so I'd like for us all to think outside the box when we're looking at those other Muscatine County bridges. Because if there's an opportunity that there's a 2-for-1 bridge for this price, that's viable, it's got efficacy, I mean, this is a good solution, then we should be looking at it across the county. So not just at 245th. And what that would do is provide more funding to take care of the bridge on the have-not sheet that Mr. Mathers was waiting last week that showed the bridges that I suspect are on the have-nots. We did not get them on the plan. And with that notion of the waiving of that particular map, so to speak, I was curious as to if that was a public-facing document. I'd like to take a peek at it, as well as the haves and the have-not maps. I want to understand if there are alternate paths, routes to get to the quote other side of the bridge in those situations. So, you know, the County Board of Supervisors shut down our alternate path to 245th in 1995. We have no alternate path to get to our properties. So I'm just trying to understand what is the qualifications that were created to get on the haves and the have-nots. You know, what were the criteria that y'all used to put us on various maps? So I don't know if anybody can answer that. Was the have-not sheet public?
We'll get you a copy of it right now, I think, if I have it here.
Okay, and if there's a have, if there's a have one, I tried to find it in the packet, but I didn't see it in the packet.
Can we get a copy for her?
Okay,
There's
perfect.
a budget, there's a 5-year plan, and then there's the bridges identified that may need additional, so all of that's public record.
Okay, I would, if there, any of that information, I think we'd like to have our hands on just to review it, because I do think that there are some, I am interested to see if there's any indication that alternate paths to get to those bridges were at all considered to get on the have or have not map.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what we'd have from the 1995 supervisors, but
We have the board minutes.
yeah.
That's about it.
Basically say the landowners requested it be closed and the board closed.
Is that what they say? I haven't had a chance to examine
So
it.
a couple did, a couple didn't, but the board closed it. That's what the meeting minutes said.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm not really even interested in that, it was closed, it's like water under the bridge, we can't do anything. Landowners, I don't know what landowners would have approved that, but I know several that did not.
Well, ones that it crossed through.
Oh,
The people that it actually crossed through, I think the guy that owned the biggest piece of ground that was pushing for it might have been Jonathan Knott. But yeah, but if you read the minutes, cause I've read them too, it does list, Carl Youngblood, which has the time, a few different people from Edgewater, and they were all not wanting it closed, primarily for a secondary access. But the board did, it didn't really go into a lot of detail.
No.
I was surprised and the board decided to just close it anyway.
so, all right, I think that you've answered, the specific questions that I have. I have a feeling that I'm gonna have more, but yeah, I think the packet of information would be super helpful as we try to understand the haves and have-nots.
And just so you know, the vast majority of information that comes to our hands, unless it falls under some legal exception, like it's a personnel matter or a legal matter, is public record. That doesn't mean it's classed to our website. You may have to ask for it if you want it, but you're certainly entitled to it.
Okay, thank you.
Do I have, yep, go ahead. State your name and address, please.
Jerry Elder, live at 1264 217th Street in Nichols. I know a friend of mine has been talking with you guys, and I was asked to sign a petition here not too long ago about getting stop signs, yield signs at uncontrolled intersections in the county, and was just curious on, I haven't dug too deep into it myself, but I would like more information on your guys' thoughts on that, and where you guys stand, and what actions we can do as the public to help move that along.
Okay. Currently, the county engineer is doing, research on that exact issue, and he'll report back to the board,
Okay,
in, I'm assuming, several weeks, when he has some information to bring to the board.
okay,
That's the only statement I can make.
okay. All right,
All right,
thank you.
thank you, Jerry. Do I have anyone else who would like to address the board at this time? Seeing no one come forward, it is 9:21, and we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.